A bullet traveling at nearly 1,000 meters per second slams into a transparent surface. The glass shatters, the bullet keeps moving, then suddenly, it doesn't. No penetration, no exit wound, just a cracked window and a bullet with nowhere left to go. How can something as fragile as glass stop something designed to punch through steel? The answer is one of the most elegant deceptions in modern engineering. Because bulletproof glass does not stop a bullet by being stronger than it, it stops a bullet by lying to it. Before we go any further, we need to correct something. A name almost everyone uses wrong. There is no such thing as bulletproof glass. The accurate term is bullet-resistant glass, because given enough force, given the right caliber, given enough rounds fired at the same spot, every material on Earth can eventually be breached. The engineers who designed this glass know that, so they stopped trying to build something unbreakable. Instead, they built something that exhausts the bullet before it reaches the other side. That distinction changes everything. The instinct most people have when they think about stopping a bullet is to imagine something harder. Thicker steel, denser material, a wall that refuses to yield, but that thinking leads to something so heavy it cannot be used anywhere practical. A sheet of pure steel thick enough to reliably stop a high-caliber rifle round would weigh hundreds of kilograms per square meter. You cannot put that in a car door. You cannot install it in a window frame. So the engineers took a completely different path. They stopped asking how to resist the bullet and started asking how to consume it. From the outside, bullet-resistant glass looks exactly like ordinary glass. Transparent, smooth, unremarkable. You could stand next to it for an hour and never know the difference. But what looks like a single solid pane is actually a carefully engineered stack of layers, bonded together under extreme pressure and heat. Layers of glass, layers of specialized plastic, then glass again, then plastic again. The plastic most commonly used is polyvinyl butyryl, or in more advanced versions, polycarbonate. These are not random choices. Each material was selected for a specific mechanical property. The glass layers are hard and rigid. The plastic layers are flexible and energy absorbing. And together, they do something neither could do alone. The entire stack is pressed inside industrial furnaces at temperatures and pressures high enough to fuse the layers into a single unified structure. No air pockets, no weak seams, no boundaries where one layer ends and another begins. Just one continuous transparent system that looks simple from the outside and is deeply complex from the inside. Now here is where the real physics begins. When a bullet strikes the outer surface, the first glass layer does what glass always does. It breaks. And that is not a failure. That is the plan. Think about catching a baseball thrown at full speed. If you hold your hand completely rigid and let the ball hit it dead still, the impact transfers all at once and the pain is intense. But if you pull your hand back as the ball arrives, you extend the time of contact and spread that energy across a longer moment. The force you feel drops dramatically. The bullet-resistant glass does exactly this, not by pulling back, but by breaking strategically. The first glass layer fractures on impact. In doing so, it consumes a portion of the bullet's kinetic energy, not enough to stop it, but enough to slow it. The bullet pushes through into the first plastic layer. That layer stretches and deforms instead of shattering. It absorbs another portion of the energy. It buys time. Then comes the next glass layer, which fractures again. Then another plastic layer, which flexes and resists again. Each layer extracts a toll. Every millimeter the bullet travels costs it more speed, more energy, more penetrating power. And while the bullet is losing energy, something else is happening to it. Its tip, the sharp hardened point designed specifically to concentrate force into the smallest possible area, begins to flatten and deform under the repeated impacts. A deformed bullet is a less effective bullet. It loses the geometry that made it dangerous in the first place. By the time it reaches the final layers, if it reaches them, the bullet is slower, fatter, and nearly spent. It stops, trapped inside the glass itself, suspended in the material it failed to defeat. But here is the part that most explanations leave out, and it matters enormously. When ordinary glass breaks, it does not just fail quietly, it explodes into fragments, sharp, fast-moving shards that can blind, cut, and kill the people standing behind it. In many historical incidents, the glass itself caused more casualties than the projectile did. Bullet-resistant glass eliminates this entirely. The plastic interlayers do not just absorb energy from the bullet, they hold the fractured glass in place. The glass breaks, yes, It spiderwebs and cracks and deforms, but it does not fly apart. The fragments stay bonded to the plastic. The destruction stays contained within the panel itself. The people behind the glass are protected twice, once from the bullet, once from the glass. This is where the design philosophy reveals itself fully. Bullet-resistant glass does not win by being the hardest thing in the room. It wins by being the most sophisticated. It combines rigidity and flexibility. It uses brittleness in the service of resilience. It turns the energy of destruction into the very mechanism that prevents it. The glass layers are hard, so they fracture on impact and initiate energy dispersal. The plastic layers are soft, so they absorb what the glass releases. And the bonding between them ensures that every layer works together. Rather than failing independently, remove any one layer, and the system weakens. Add more layers, and the resistance increases. This is why modern armored vehicles can be built with windows that stop armor-piercing rounds. This is why the presidential limousine has glass rated against rifle fire from military-grade weapons. This is why certain bank branches can install windows that look identical to any other glass on the street, but can withstand sustained assault. The same principle scales. Thicker, heavier configurations with more alternating layers are used in the most demanding environments. Diplomatic facilities, military command centers, courtrooms housing high-value trials. In each case, the fundamental logic does not change. You do not defeat the bullet with strength alone. You defeat it with time. There is something almost philosophical buried inside this engineering. The conventional assumption about protection is that it requires hardness, that to resist something powerful, you must be more powerful, that the way to survive force is to match it with greater force. But bullet-resistant glass suggests something more nuanced, that the most durable systems are not always the ones that refuse to yield. They are the ones that know exactly how to absorb impact, distribute it, and remain functional after the collision. The glass that stops a bullet is not the glass that never breaks. It is the glass that breaks precisely, and in breaking, wins. That idea extends far beyond physics. The things that endure the longest in nature, in architecture, in human systems, are rarely the most rigid. They are the most adaptive. They yield in the right places. They absorb in the right moments. They distribute pressure across their entire structure instead of concentrating it at a single point of resistance. Bullet-resistant glass figured this out before most engineering disciplines did, and it did it by looking at a problem everyone was solving the wrong way and asking a completely different question. Not how do we stop the bullet, but how do we take everything the bullet has and leave it with nothing? Think about the structures in your own life that have protected you through impact, whether physical, emotional, or otherwise. Were they the ones that stayed completely rigid? Or were they the ones that knew when to bend?